Welcome, everybody, to It Tastes Different in Gaming News. What's in the news today? Well, another billionaire being an asshole. News at 11. Jensen Huang, I apologize if I mispronounce your name, but you're an a-hole, so I don't care, says relentless negativity around AI is hurting society and has done a lot of damage. AI feels bad. All right. Won't somebody think of the CEOs? That's a good title. Ever since ChatGPT was released to the masses, there's been a lot of negativity around generative AI from the number of jobs it's set to make obsolete to more extreme concerns like apocalyptic events. We've all seen the Terminator. Nvidia's Jensen Huang isn't happy about it, claiming that this doomer negativity is not helpful to society. Yeah, like firing thousands of people every day is, you piece of shit. It's not entirely unsurprising view from the CEO of the company whose hardware powers the AI industry. Huang made his feelings about AI skeptics, haters, and doom mongers clear on a recent episode of No Prior's podcast. The boss of the world's most, most valuable company said the battle of the narratives between those who think AI will benefit society and those who believe it will degrade or even destroy it was one of the biggest takeaways from 2025. Huang, however you want to pronounce his name, did admit that it's too simplistic to dismiss either of these views entirely, but he believes some naysayers' views are having a detrimental effect. Dick. I think we have a lot of damage with very well-respected people who have painted a doomer narrative and end of the world narrative, science fiction narrative, Huang said. And I appreciate that many of us grew up, I apologize, I'm coughing my ass off now, grew up and enjoyed science fiction, but it's not helpful. It's not helpful to people. It's not helpful to the industry. It's not helpful to society. It's not helpful to the governments. Okay. Screw your company and screw the governments. Huang never named names, but has spoken out against those who have warned us about AI's consequences in the past. Last June, soon after Anthropic leader Dario Amodei said that AI could wipe out about half of all entry-level white-collar jobs in the next 5 years, leading to unemployment spikes up to 20%. Huang said he pretty much disagreed with almost everything his fellow CEO said. Huang appeared to reference Amodei again during the No Priors podcast. He said no company should ask governments for more AI regulation. That's a true corporation right there. The intentions are clearly deeply conflicted, and their intentions are clearly, not completely, in the best interest of society. He said, I mean, they're obviously CEOs, they're obviously companies, and there's obviously advocating for themselves. In May 2025, Huang and Amodei clashed over the AI diffusion rules that restrict the export of advanced AI technologies to countries such as China. Anthropic has argued for tighter controls and enforcement and highlighted some of the unusual cases of people smuggling chips into the Asian nation. Nvidia hit back, saying its chips have never been smuggled, horseshit, into China via the likes of fake pregnant bellies or alongside live lobsters, despite Chinese customs documenting these cases. Huang also claimed that the amount of negativity surrounding AI could make some skeptics' worst fears a reality. When 90% of messaging is all about the end, is all around the end of the world and the pessimism. And I think we're scaring people from making the investments in AI that makes it safer, more functional, more productive, and more useful to society, he said. Mustafa Man hates that you hate AI. I'm not going to continue on. You guys can find the link because everything I have read and just from this interview just irritates the living hell out of me to no end. Let me just put this away. All right. So I'm going to jump to these guys. I'm not a tech person, so I'll kind of base my opinions last. Mine are pretty much going to be me just being an a-hole. So let's go to these guys. Nick, you look like young Mr. Rogers there. What do you think? Do you think that he has a point in any way? Do you think he's looking at it purely from his wallet's perspective? What do you think?
Well, I would think that, I would hate to be a lobster and going through customs and get my, 5090 taken away from me.
Get him a body cavity search
poor
to
lobster.
a lobster.
Yeah, I mean, my perspective, we've talked about AI a lot. You can look at our short to see how we brought AI up quite a bit last year. I think, for Nvidia's sake, Huang is definitely looking out for his investments in his wallet and various things like that, right? Nvidia is already making strides to get rid of their GPU line, right? I think they stopped producing their 5060s and 5070 lines. I think they stopped manufacturing those here recently. And then, they're already looking at shortening their 5090s, 5080s or something like that. I can't remember the details of it, but not having as many of those out on the market, plus the price point of those items going up as well, because they're moving from consumer, and I think we talked about this before maybe, but they're moving away from consumer products mostly to more of an AI, focusing on AI infrastructure, right? And so, yeah, I mean, like, I think they're, Huang talks about, and I don't know about regulations when it comes to exporting AI technologies outside of United States, for example, but in the US, like, I don't know of any, or if we do have very limited regulations on AI currently, right? And the government's doing its best to make sure that AI does not get regulated in any form or fashion. So it's the Wild West when it comes to AI and how it's implemented and being used out there today. And I think that's, we've talked about it before. AI can be a useful tool, but it does not need to be a replacement. And I feel like more companies are going in the thralls of using it as more of a replacement than a useful tool, right? Trying to take away, in some certain circumstances, you do move jobs, right? So you take people, and hopefully that's maybe the case with this. I don't see that happening. In most cases, whenever things transition from an old thing that we used to use to a new thing, right? Usually those people, not everybody, but a lot of those people transition out of what they're doing now and move into a more advanced job, right? Or something, or taking care of that thing. They step up into, okay, now you don't have to have, automation, things like that, right? So then you have different jobs that open up because of that. But I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like this time, and maybe it's the doomer sense or whatever, but I feel like this time, companies are not looking at moving people. I mean, they're still going to need to have people that regulate the AI and engineers and various things of that nature. But I think that, I don't know if that pool of people is going to be that large, right? Compared to, like, I don't know how big of a pool of people companies went when automation came into play, right? Did they hire more, or was it hired less because now we have automation? And then if you throw AI in there, which is another form of automation in a sense, then the amount of manpower might even be even less, to where a lot of these companies don't need a lot of people. So, okay, just leave it there. It's fine. So, yeah, I mean, I think these companies are looking for, as far as Nvidia and a lot of these other AI, a lot of these other companies focusing on AI, it just, I don't know. For me, I'm not a big fan of it. I guess I'm the doomer gloomer type. I don't think the T1000s or whatever are coming to destroy us yet, but most of those robots they showed off can't even walk half the time. So we're still good for now, but just wait till they start, making like military robots that can shoot guns. I'm sure they already have those, but I mean, like, efficiently. Then you get the robots taking over.
Yeah. Nick will be the first person to be killed by a Japanese sex bot. I'm forecasting that right now.
Hey, that's the way I want to go out, So I don't know, but I mean, I'm the doomer and gloomer type, I guess, when it comes to that. If we're going to have AI, and it seems like AI is, we have a lot of things that come and go, like 3D TVs, and, VR is still trying to get its hooks into things, right? It's still there, but it still hasn't, as much as it's trying, it still hasn't quite gotten to the level that it wants to get to. But AI, it feels like every company and government and everything like that is just trying to ram AI through without any oversight or regulations, or like just, I mean, they're really like, every company's going full force with AI, and it's just kind of like, I don't know. I feel like we just need to slow down and, stop putting the pedal to the metal for this entire thing. I feel like we're going a little too quickly on that whole aspect, but I don't know. I mean, I know these things happen over a series of years. It just seems like it's really fast, right? It seems faster than most, I should say. I don't know. What do you think, Pat?
I don't know about fast. AI's been around in this type for 10 plus years now. It's not new news by any means, but how much of it's in your face is a lot more, right? People have been using artificial intelligence in their applications for years. And it's just more prevalent. There are always, like Nick had mentioned, with automation that killed a lot of jobs, right? And and how many employees did Henry Ford, car manufacturers have before Henry Ford came in and showed them how the assembly line can help them speed up their operations, right? And things like that. So, I mean, there is always a paradigm shift with new and emerging technologies, especially disruptors like AI. Is there things to worry about? Of course there is. It is going to eliminate jobs. It can eliminate any number of jobs. Any one of our jobs can be up for grabs with AI. Right now, as Nick had mentioned, robots can barely walk in some cases. Some of them are really good at it, but some of them are really bad at it. So what that essentially means is that all your manual labor jobs are safe, right? To some extent, right? We made robots that could do cars, and
for now they are,
right. Yeah. But I'm not necessarily doom and gloom. But yeah, Nick had mentioned in our country, the US, there is no formal AI regulation at the federal level. All the AI regulations is the state level. Our government has put together a regulation body whose job is to go out and challenge all these state level laws to get rid of them, to have a unified federal law that doesn't even exist yet. But I don't know how you're going to regulate it, to be honest. Half of these people that are probably on this regulatory body don't even know what AI is, cannot explain AI and how it's used or anything like that. That's what ends up happening with emerging technologies, right? You pull all these committees together to form regulating bodies that are full of politicians who couldn't write a line of code to save their life or query AI properly to do anything, right?
But they can do a line. They just can't write
do a line. Yeah. But as far as like Nvidia goes, they better be fucking scared, in my opinion, because they have shit the bed in the consumer market. And if they fail at the corporate level, because they basically have shit all over the consumers, right? They're like, fuck you guys. We are no longer going to make what you need. We're going to make what the corporations need because they have bigger pockets than you. So that has to be successful for them, because if they come crawling back to the consumer market, we're going to tell them where to stick their GPUs, and the entire truckload is going to go up there in Huang's ass, sideways. Essentially, I'm at the point where I'm like, fuck Nvidia. I'm never buying another one of your GPUs, because they are biting the hand that fed them, right? We are the reason that Nvidia exists, AI, and then they started getting more popular in the AI market with their GPUs and everything, because GPUs were the driving force behind the compute power of AI, right? And so I think that they have to hedge their bets in the corporate world. So any negativity that affects the corporate trajectory of AI is bad for their bottom line. So of course he's going to be all against it, because it's going to he's not going to have, I don't know what Huang's worth. So he's not going to have 10 billion. He's going to have 9 billion. I don't know what Huang's net worth is, but so heaven forbid that he loses $1 billion worth of his wealth, and I have no sympathy for him, that was probably all I could think of when I read the title was what Shane was saying was won't somebody think of the CEOs, was a Sarah McLachlan video with Huang in the background wiping his eyes with this 9 billion because he lost $1 billion.
According to Google, his net worth is 161 billion.
Oh
0.4.
0.4.
Cry me a river, Huang. How about I trade you?
How about I shove that GPU up your ass, Huang and deep?
Yeah, Huang and deep. Right? Like I don't like guys like that annoy the crap out of me. I understand he's got a business to protect, but at the same time he's coming across as a pretentious asshole who has no common sense, who's so far removed from the common person, which he's not talking about the common person, in his article. He's more talking about these other CEOs that just don't have the same vision that he has. And they're preaching, that AI is a disruptor.
It's turned into a dick measuring contest is all it's turned into with these CEOs and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Corporations.
Right. I mean, because you guys talked about it last week. I watched a video about how, basically GameStop is giving themselves a fucking golden umbrella CEO. Mm-hmm. He's pretty much just like, shut down all these stores so I can get my $10 billion, there's where regulation need to be. If I think that regulation needs to be, if you lay off a single person that year, no bonus.
No bonus.
Yeah. If you close one store, no bonus. It makes no sense to me that you could give a CEO billions would be
35 billion that son of a bitch was going to get,
and close stores down. Like, what's the long-term investment plan here? Put it all in crypto. That's because that's what GameStop's going to do. They're going to roll more money into crypto, because that's how they're making their money these days. It's not anything else but investing more money into crypto. So they shut down more stores, save more money. CEO got 35 billion. They invested another 65 billion in crypto. It's quite sickening. This Huang guy is very sickening with his thought process, because, he, like I said, he has to hedge his bets, because I have to feel that more consumers are feel the way I do. Right. They just shit all over the people who made them who they are today, which is the consumer market. Right. Nvidia wouldn't be where it would be without the consumers. And now they've basically been like, they wiped our ass with us, and they're going to the corporate level. They're like, we don't need you guys anymore. And a lot of this is they're blaming it on the memory, the stop making the 5060 and 5070. But they were already headed this way, because they'd already mentioned before the whole memory crap was going on that they were slowing down their GPU market so they could put more money into their AI endeavors. So they must think every consumer out here is a fucking idiot. That's all I can think of.
I wouldn't be surprised if they stop making consumer not GPUs altogether for consumers, but I mean like a consumer affordable line, like the 60
only the
and
premium
70
line.
Yeah, only premium line, like 80 and 90, and that's it. Right.
But then it's not premium at that level, right? That's your base level. That's all you have. That's not a premium. But then they can charge a premium price.
But they can charge a premium price, right? Yeah.
Because all they got to do is premium price, because only the premium people can afford it.
Oh, well, yeah, because all they got to do is beat out whatever AMD is pushing out, right? That's all they got to do at that point.
Yeah. I mean, you got Nvidia or Intel, but Intel ARM,
their market
is
their GPUs are not that great yet. Maybe with these guys stepping out, they could step in. But I don't see Microsoft doing that. They're not.
Or Intel.
Intel. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Intel. I can't see Intel.
Microsoft would have gave up already.
Yeah.
Oh no, they'd have bought the company and then just laid them alone.
But yeah, I mean, so Like that's where where I think he's coming from, and every bit of fear mongering, especially for those people that have influence, which is the other CEOs and stuff, it hurts his bottom line. So he doesn't get his, what'd you say, $134 billion or whatever, whatever, 164 or something,
161,
161.4. Yeah, that's. And so at this point, I'm just like it just makes me sick to my stomach. It would be like if Crucial came back, right? I'd be like, fuck you. I'm not buying another piece of your equipment ever. You abandoned us when everything was getting freaking difficult. And now you're going to come back. Choke on all that RAM is what I would tell them, and I think other consumers should vote that way. I think people should just stop buying Nvidia, go straight to AMD, be like, you don't want our business. We don't want your product.
Yep.
You're too good for us. We're too good for you. Hopefully you don't come crawling back because we're not buying your shit ever again. They'll have to rebrand so that nobody knows who they are before people start buying their shit again. But at the same time, hopefully somebody pulls up that, this is a shell company for Nvidia and starts to spread the news so that they freaking, have to keep playing the shell game. So we don't know who is who, but that's where he's at. But where I'm at is I'm at the point where I don't want to buy another one of their damn pieces of hardware because you're just abandoning us when the time gets tough. Instead of ramping up production, which I don't know what, I don't know much about what goes on in the inner workings of their company. I've never worked for them, never done anything. But why wouldn't you just want to ramp up production to make both demands to make more money? To me, that says more money, right?
The way I understand it, and I may be wrong, but the way I was understanding it is the need for all this AI is overwhelming these companies, they can't react fast enough. They can't pump it out fast enough. That's why they're just like, what? Bill the consumer can go eat a bag of, AMDs. We're purely for AI because that's all we can manufacture right now. And I mean, I would agree with you. That makes more sense if you could ramp up production and cover both ends, but AI is just eating everything out. I mean, just the power consumption all these AI data centers are using is unreal. And, who's paying for that? It's not those companies. It's not those billionaires.
I don't know if you guys read that article of Google buying that power company to run their AI. They bought like a whole power company. I was reading on some article.
I mean, there's a lot of that happening, right? Like Microsoft wants to restart 3 Mile Island,
Yes.
And they're investing in all that. And, but I mean, what good I could see coming from this is if those guys reignite the nuclear fusion, the nuclear power plant market, then I think nuclear is a good option for power for our country.
It's a lot safer than it was, 30 years ago, but.
Oh yeah. But I mean, and the regulatory commissions behind all that stuff. And, and then if we could do,
it's better than coal, right?
No, I mean, which sounds like Pat's been breathing over there with the coal.
Yeah,
I mean that's what we have here. We have a coal power plant. So
I mean that's where pretty much the majority of our country is, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, in Sim City, you start out with a coal plant, but you eventually upgrade to nuclear. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah. Right. So
that's why
just to bring it back to video games.
So if we can get to fusion, if all that stuff pans out, we have even more better energy, more better. God,
more better.
More better. We have more better energy, right? We have more options and safer alternatives, for the environment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because you cannot build enough wind farms, you cannot build enough solar farms to power what AI needs. You just cannot do it. It's a power hungry beast. When you hear about Microsoft needing to restart a defunct nuclear facility to power their freaking facilities.
Well, I don't
and that's
think
all it's being used for.
I don't think that's fully accurate because even Adderall Musk said we could line the salt flats with solar panels and power the whole country.
That was before the AI boom.
That was before the AI
boom.
But that would definitely go a long way.
I realize it's ketamine.
Do you realize how?
I mean, ketamine. Sorry, the other guy's on Adderall. One's on ketamine, one's on Adderall.
Get your drugs straight.
I think that
Get my
I
drugs
see the
straight.
AI market is kind of like, I see the AI market happening one of two ways. It's going to crash like the housing market back in the, what was it, the 90s or whatever, or back in the early 2000s, whatever. It's going to crash like the housing market, or it'll level itself off eventually. Because it's just, I think a lot of businesses have a very strong misunderstanding about how AI can help them, and too much trust in what AI can do today. AI has horrible hallucinations today. You can get AI to do just about anything, even with guardrails in place. Like I can use a perfect example. Like I've created AI prompts and stuff like this to limit its knowledge base and where it can look for its information, right? I give it its repositories, its libraries, all that. Excuse me. But eventually you can talk AI into going outside of its constraints to get its data. I've proven it time and time again, even with my own models, with giving it tight controls, telling it you can't go to the internet anyway, this or that. But eventually it will find a loophole to get out. You can close those loopholes every time you catch them, but somebody has to rein it in. So, I think Huang is just scared because he can't go back to the consumer market because he's already burned that bridge on the way out. And so he needs that professional corporate contracts to keep going. He needs AI to be successful so that he can run screaming away from the consumers and never look back. As much as I wish that, as much as I'd like to steer towards AMD, this is my opinion, and from tests and things that I've done and seen, AMD GPUs for gaming don't meet the standard benchmarks that a 5090 or so, the higher premium, or even their mid-tier cards can do. AMD has a better price for value, in my opinion, on GPUs, but not performance-wise. Like top performance-wise, I mean, it's, if you can afford a 5090, 5080 Ti's, 5070 Ti's, those are powerhouses for gaming. And the technology that Nvidia brought along with those is just great, but they're out the door now. So AMD's got to pick it up. Everybody's got to get used to what AMD puts out. And the problem is now that AMD is the only one in the market, will they be a straight shooter, or are they going to come in and be like, well, we can charge what we want now? I mean, competition. We got Intel. Intel's been in the graphics market forever, right? We've had the onboard Intel chipset graphics drivers forever.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, but their ARM series is supposed to be their more higher end cards. So
yeah. Well, I think the
standalone cards, not just chipsets.
I think the whole moral of the story is this guy's an asshole. He's got a one mindset, and it's not even about AI. It's about bottom line. That's purely it. Don't get me wrong. I understand demand's got to run a company, but when you're running over people, that's wrong. When you're running over the people that made you that 161 billion, you lose any credit with me. I think AI is a destructive force. I am a complete gloom and dimmer, and it's not the AI, it's the people. People are going to use AI to destroy everything they can for a profit. I think it's going to ruin video games. I think it's going to ruin jobs. It's going to put us, people like me, my job, AI gets smart enough, it's going to take my job. It's going to take these guys' job. And I don't want to go back to the sewer barn working for the city. No, that ain't happening. I'm too damn old for standing in poo-poo. I read all his remarks about it, and I think he's being very disingenuous with his whole thing. I think he's trying to cover a little bit of both sides, but primarily the positive end of it. A student shouldn't be able to use AI to do their homework. Okay, I think that's common sense. Now, I use like spell check. I mean, that's pretty soon it's just going to be able to shove a tube up my ass, and it's going to be able to read my mind and put everything out there in a nice, proper grammar and all that. And does that help my work, if I send an email with perfect phrasing and perfect grammar, maybe a little, but when it does the other parts of my job, that's where I'm going to have big issues. And I think AI is just like any tool, it's going to get used for the wrong reason, plain and simple. I mean, it's scary, scary, scary. But,
well, I'm sure your application that you guys use for all your stuff, because you guys use CAD, right? You use CAD?
Yep.
That has AI built into
CAD,
it already.
Revit.
Yeah, that all stuff already has AI built into it.
Not our version. We haven't upgraded that far yet, but our Revit programs do. So
they're more than a year behind then.
Oh yeah, and that's okay. I'm happy with where I'm at. But you guys have anything else? We don't want to drag the AI horse through the mud.
Only thing I have to say is I think I said Intel ARM. I meant ARC.
ARC, yes,
Intel
the ARC. Yeah. I was trying to think of what I was like. ARM.
I just want to
that's the
correct.
processor.
The ARMs
market.
are the processors. Yeah, I mean ARC is their GPUs.
Yeah, so. The ARC.
See, if you'd just used AI, you'd have got the answer right the first time. Damn it!
Just need to plug the AI in the side.
I got
of your
my
head.
A's mixed up there with Intel.
You got a lot of. You got your C's mixed up.
C's
and
ARC
and M.
Yeah, ARC and ARM.
The ARC versus the ARM.
At least they're both Intel, I guess. So
yes, you had the right
CPU technology, right? Because even ARM was
ARM's their CPU processors, right?
Yeah, but I think
ARC's their GPU.
But, ARM is not Intel though. Intel is x86, x64. ARM is RISC technology, which
rice is rice.
I thought Intel had a ARM something or.
All right. Well, when these guys try to figure out where their arms are.
I was just thinking of ARC. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
These guys are measuring arms together.
There's like the most expensive one they have is a $500 Intel ARC, which got pretty good reviews on Newegg. I mean, I don't know how well it does, but I mean, didn't sound too bad. It said 8K resolution up to 120 hertz HDR. It can support for a $500 graphics card.
I'll take one.
Not bad.
Hurt. All right. I'm getting us out of here. No more arms talk.
No, we're good.
Go ahead. All right. If you made it to the end, congratulations. I want you to go to the store, pick out anything you'd like. It's on you. Let us know what you think in the comments below. How do you see this affecting gaming? That's our show. That's our beef. That's our thing, games. How do you think this is all going to pan out for the gamer?
It's killing it.
Because what this is doing is killing it. Next gen consoles are going to end up delayed. In my opinion, I think they were planning for 27. I'm thinking it's going to be 28 until they can get a handle on all of this tech shortages. Personal opinion, but let us know in the comments below what you think, how this is going to affect the gaming industry, how it's going to affect your homemade, home built PC, how it's going to affect your next Xbox, your next PlayStation. Switch is already rumors to be raising their prices for the Switch too. So let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, notifications, all those good buttons that help keep up to date. We'll see you next time. See ya.